Cooking with Cadman. So today I thought we'd do something that is everyone's favourite and have a look at doing a brownie, but we're going to top it with a ganache and marble effect. So let's see. Okay, so we need 125 grams of castor sugar, 100 grams of dark chocolate, and cooking chocolate in the bakery aisle is actually better than using Cadbury's or anything like that. We need 100 grams of butter, 2 eggs, half a teaspoon of vanilla essence, but that is optional, 85 grams of plain flour, and 15 grams of cocoa powder. The first thing you need to do is to preheat the oven to 180 degrees C or gas mark 4. Then you need to prepare the tray. To do that, you're going to use some grease-proof paper. I always do a squirt in the bottom with some oil just to hold it. You then push the paper into the corners, and then with a pair of scissors you take it back out again and then cut down to all the points that you identified. That then allows you to line it with the corners, folding over like so. Having some surplus over the top is good because it will help you pull out the brownie when it's done. The next stage is to melt the chocolate and the butter together in a bain-marie. A bain-marie is made up of a saucepan which has some water in the bottom. Be careful where you put angling your handles, and then the bowl needs to sit on top of the saucepan but not touching the water. The idea is the steam from the water comes up to the bowl and then starts to then melt the chocolate and butter inside. Lowest heat. And then you just put your chocolate and the butter inside, and then periodically you will stir it with a wooden spoon. You need to be careful because the bowl that you're using might get hot. It is better to use a glass bowl, but at home I've only got a plastic one. So we're going to leave that to melt for later. While the chocolate and butter is melting, we can start preparing the other ingredients. So into the bowl you're going to sieve in your castor sugar. It's good to sieve because it gets the lumps out and also gets some air trapped into it, which helps as a form of raising agent. Those bits. And to that we're going to add our 2 eggs. You should just wash your hands after you've cracked eggs. And I'm going to add some vanilla essence, about 2 cupfuls. And then I'm just going to beat that. You can do it with an electric whisk, but if you haven't got one, you can just do it with a wooden spoon. Once that's fully combined, you can sieve in your cocoa powder, and your plain flour. So plain flour is fine for this, and it's only 85 grams. and then you just beat all those ingredients together. If you want to, you can add additional ingredients into the brownies. You could add some dried fruit, you could add some chocolate chips, you could add fudge pieces, anything you want really to make it unique to you. So give it a good beat. So we can't see any dried flour in it or cocoa powder, and it's all nicely combined. So there we go, just like that. So we then need to wait for the chocolate and butter to have melted. Once the butter and chocolate have melted together and the bowl is cool enough for you to handle, you can then take this off and pour it into the chocolate mixture. Don't want to waste any of it. And then you can then combine these two. Be careful because the chocolate might be a little hot, so you do it slowly so it doesn't splash up and burn. So we're just stirring it until it is all combined and looks like a smooth chocolate paste. There we go. Then we can then put this into the container that we've already lined. If you've got one, a spatula is a good thing to use for this, as it gets all of the chocolate out. And then just shake it a little bit so it evens out and flattens out. That then goes into the oven for 15 minutes, and don't forget to use some oven gloves. So the cake's been in there for 15 minutes now, so I'm just going to check to see whether it's done. So it should be still a little bit soft in the middle, which that is, and still have like a cracked surface, so that's fine. So I'm going to take that out, but I'm going to leave it to cool before I look at decorating it. So once the brownie's cooled, and you can see now that the consistency of the ganache has gone much thicker, this is now at a good consistency to spread over the brownie. So I'm going to leave it in the container because I shall want it to set a bit more in here before I look at slicing it up. So I'm just going to spread it around. Again, and then if need be, you can use a spatula to get the last bits out. Here we go. And then with the spatula, I'm then just going to smooth that over the top of the brownie. So it gives gives it a coating, this is another reason why it doesn't matter what the top of the brownie looks like, because we're covering it with something. But you don't want to overcook brownie. You want them to still be a little bit soft in the middle when you take them out, because they'll firm a little bit more on cooking anyway. So that's nearly spread. Then while everything was cooling, I've also melted some white chocolate in the microwave. I did this for 10 seconds at a time, taking the spoon out and stirring it until it was a nice smooth consistency. I'm going to use a piping bag, just a disposable piping bag. If you haven't got a piping bag at home, you can just use a sandwich bag, which I sometimes use, and just cut the corner off that. So I'm going to pour this into it. It's easier if you stand it in the jug. Makes this task much easier. Let it come all to the bottom. And then I'm just going to snip off the end. You're going to need a cocktail stick as well for the next task. And now I'm just going to do white lines over the top of the cake. Like so. Do one more here. And then with the cocktail stick, you want to go into the ganache as well. You're just going to feather it going one way, then the other, then the other. So you need to do this while the ganache is still quite soft, otherwise it doesn't work as well. There we go. And then I'm just going to leave that to set before I cut it into slices. So I hope you've enjoyed cooking with Cadman today at home with cooking brownies, and I hope you give them a go as well. Take care. Bye.